It's not easy to understand why stocks go up and down, but even in volatile markets, there's always a discoverable and logical reason behind price action. Story trading is a social investing community of investors who share information to uncover the hidden stories behind the trade through the 4 pillars of fundamentals, catalyst, sentiment, and technicals. All price action can be understood through the lens of these pillars, allowing for a holistic view that empowers better decision-making. Only by understanding markets can you beat them. Join our community today and start making sense of markets. It's not easy to understand why stocks go up and down, but even in volatile markets, there's always a discoverable and logical reason behind price action. Story trading is a social investing community of investors who share information to uncover the hidden stories behind the trade through the 4 pillars of fundamentals, catalyst, sentiment, and technicals. All price action can be understood through the lens of these pillars, allowing for a holistic view that empowers better decision-making. Only by understanding markets can you beat them. Join our community today and start making sense of markets. It's not easy to understand why stocks go up and down, but even in volatile markets, there's always a discoverable and logical reason behind price action. Story trading is a social investing community of investors who share information to uncover the hidden stories behind the trade through the 4 pillars of fundamentals, catalyst, sentiment, and technicals. All price action can be understood through the lens of these pillars, allowing for a holistic view that empowers better decision-making. Only by understanding markets can you beat them. Join our community today and start making sense of markets.
Welcome, everyone. Good morning. It's Thursday, December 21st. We're doing a impromptu free preview here. But you know what? If we get enough viewership here, if you guys like, retweet, comment on this on social media, whether you're watching on YouTube, X, whatever it is, we may try doing the free preview for the rest of the month. All right. So get out there. In fact, I want to make sure everyone is there because we're streaming on many platforms. I'm not quite sure how this works here. So I'm just checking this stream here, and if you can put a 1, I don't know if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, if you can just put a 1 in the comments there, just so I know you're there and this is working, that'll be great. All right. Now, for those of you who are new here, what is story trading? Really quick, what we try to do is time markets based on the belief that markets are efficient, right? Yesterday's price was the correct price. So when you get a delta of information, you get a rapid re-rating of a delta in price. That's the whole idea behind story trading. And how do we try to predict these re-ratings? We look at markets holistically. We don't only look at fundamentals. We don't only look at technicals. We also look at sentiment and catalysts, okay? In fact, what we do is we take that catalyst, interpret the impact of that catalyst on sentiment and fundamentals, and then triangulate that with the chart on the technicals and come up with a thesis for the day, a price target for the day, or a swing price target. That's what we do at story trading, and we do it very, very well. Yesterday, our number 1 pick was Blink Charging. BLNK. You can see it's up 7.5% in pre-market. Blink Charging was up 8% almost the entire day. It was the number 1 mover of some 400 stocks we follow. And that happens pretty often where we're picking one of the top movers for the day from a very early pre-market call. So we will get into Blink. But first, I want to just go over the macro picture. So yesterday, we had this big flush at the end of the day, but I think everything is still nice and stable and good. We'll go over these key levels and explain why. At first, there was a little bit of a fear that there was a Taiwan, that China wants to go into Taiwan. Market started going down. But as I noted yesterday in the chat room, in our VIP chat room, there was no move up in oil gold, or defense stocks, which told me that this wasn't really about Taiwan. It was just a market correction. And then when we go into IWM, the indice we're most bullish about, yesterday morning, we gave you a 197 support level, and it just briefly went below 197. There are other supports here. The 197.10 is the most important level. But you know what? If you go to a weekly, in fact, intraday, on the daily, it went below. You can see 197.10 is this 18-month breakout. It was a triple top right there, 197.10. All right, it briefly went below it. There's a couple other support levels, though. If we go into the daily chart, we have the bottom right here at 195.23. Then we have this gap fill at 192.62. So any moves to here, you're still bullish, even above that gap. You can get a gap fill and still go. I would just prefer it to hold 197.10 because of that 18-month breakout, and it kind of did that, right? Briefly went below 197 yesterday at the end of the day on this Taiwan fear, which ended up to be not really a fear, at least imminently, and now markets rebounding off of that level. TLT, our North Star, right? Interest rates continues to do well. It's still green. Things are still looking and risk assets. So we're going to continue pressing the pedal to the metal and looking for stocks that are going to overperform. I don't know why my software here, I used to be able to see every single person who joined on Twitter. So I'm not sure why I don't see that now. Interesting. Anyway, all right. So that's the introduction, what we do. Now I'm going to go through, we're going to try to make this a little more interactive today and maybe every day. All right. In that chat bubble, if we have time, I can't promise I get to it, but put in some tickers you want me to look at. And if we have time, we'll get to it at the end. And then also what we do at the end, we're going to go through our top picks. I'm going to give you a thesis behind each of these. We'll go through the chart. And then by the end of the show, we'll come back and reorder them and put like, what are the top 5 for today? And I want to make it a little interactive because I want to hear from the audience today what you think is the top pick out of the ones we're going to present to you. All right. So we're going to do that. Anyway, IWM still bullish. Buy the dips, 195 to 197 area. Even the gap fill, I think you can buy. All right. Hopefully it doesn't happen. The ideal hold is 197. Bitcoin, we've been talking about this. Man, we're totally on top of this run. Actually, we've been talking about it since like 28K. If you've been with us, we called this entire run. The move back above the 20 DMA the other day, we called that as well. And now, and what was the clue? Do you remember? Because we're watching sentiment. The sentiment of the sector was really hot. Even when it went below the 20 DMA, we saw all the Bitcoin miners exploding to new highs. I like looking at that as a clue of where Bitcoin is going to go. Often it's a leading indicator. So that was our clue that we could reclaim the 20 DMA. And when we did, what did I tell you? We're going to new highs. The RSI is pretty low here. Look at this. You see that? We're below 70 with the stock. This is breaking above. It is breaking above 44,746. You see that? 44,746 because of the low RSI. The divergence you're seeing between price and RSI, you're going to see this break above 44,746. Let's see if we can quickly take a look at what might come next. Yeah, we can. This is pretty. Wow, 50,000, folks. Hold on. 48,000. Yes, this was the number, if you recall, when we're at like 28, 30,000. I'm like, if we break 30,000, we're going to 48,000. All right. So it's going to 48,000, it looks like. Okay, that's the call on Bitcoin. Now, let's go over just a couple picks from yesterday, and then we'll get into new ones. So Blink and Air. So Blink was definitely disappointing that it had that big pullback with the market. I was looking for it. I guess I'm still looking for it, but it's a little different now. 466 through 530 on a swing time frame on Citadel buying shares of Blink. That was the catalyst. And then we have the risk on sentiment. And then we have the technicals of this breaking over the 20-day moving average. All right. That was the play here, but we get a big pullback. What do we need to reclaim to really make this bullish? It's a shame that kind of broke a little bit, but there's the level here, 345. That was yesterday's level, right? 345 we needed to break to see that explode, and it did, and it was up there in the 365 to 370 range most of the day until the end of day puke. So look at this support. It bounced perfectly off the 50-day moving average at 306. So again, you got to contend with 345 and then yesterday's high, all right? So these are the levels, 345, 371, and then back to our swing targets of 466 to 525 which I believe we can get sometime in January if I think what's going to happen with IWM will continue. I see a rotation coming out of big caps, mega caps in the first week of January, while IWM, I think, will continue to perform. So we'll see if that plays out. All right. So that's Blinks. Staying with that on a swing perspective, but I think I may have better ones for today. Air was a late entry in our VIP chat room. So yeah, on occasion you can get these free VIP shows here, but if you want to consistently get the 9 a.m. VIP show for free, you also get our VIP chat room. All right, and there you would have gotten the alert for Air. Okay, Air Test Systems holding that 50 DMA. And I didn't realize until yesterday that earnings are January 2nd, at least the estimated earnings date. I don't believe, is there a press release date saying that it's January 2nd? I don't see that. So that's the estimated earnings date is January 2nd. So we could see, and we've been following this. We called the breakout to $28. We're waiting, and then we got it because it had to catch up with the performance of ON. Let's quickly look at ON for a second because Air died when ON died, and then ON came back, hit the 200 DMA, pulling back from the 200 DMA. Where's the 200 DMA on Air? It's up there at $36.18. Okay, so more room. In fact, I would say more like the 33 because now bounced off the 200, pulled back 33. There's also resistance. Can this stock make a move? Recent high is 30.50 and then 33. So 30.50 through 33. Can get this on an event anticipation run. Earnings being January 2nd. All right, it's December 21st here. And by the way, this is the time period. I've been saying it. Right around Christmas time is when beaten up microcaps because of tax loss. Is there tax loss selling this year in Air? There could be. Probably not so severe. But in any case, small caps usually do well in the January effect. So can we get an event anticipation move? So I got some extra shares of Air. In fact, playing it via options, looking to sell by next Friday. All right, in a price range of 30 to 33. All right, that's Air. That came in as an idea for you in the VIP chat room. Now, for this morning, however, I got a couple picks that could outperform. All right, let's look at this news. Uranium. Uranium has been really hot. In fact, before we look specifically at UUUU, let's check our uranium list over here. So URNM, okay, this is an ETF, and I believe UUUU is in there. I think CCJ is the biggest. Let's see. Cameco, CCJ is the biggest, and is UUUU in the top 10? Maybe not. What is that? Energy Fuels is the name of the company. Energy fuels. I don't even see it. So that may be part of the reason. Well, it's why it's been underperforming, hasn't been moving up with this ETF that recently hit new highs. Uranium recently hit new highs and been staying above the 20 and 50 DMA trend lines. Okay. Now UUUU has been underperforming that below the 20 and 50, moving towards the 200 DMA. This morning, what do we get? Energy Fuels rise on starting uranium production in Arizona and Utah. Energy Fuels expects production to be a run rate of 1.1 to 1.4 million pounds per year once production on all three mines fully ramps by mid to late 2024. That's not the full press release. You can find the full press release in here. You can take a look at that. So look at this. Due to the substantial increase in uranium prices, U.S. government support for energy and fuel, and a global focus on reducing carbon emissions, Energy Fuels is resuming large-scale uranium production. To me, this is huge news. Now, one caveat. Let's go back to our top picks list. So, all right, that's the catalyst. We're interpreting that the rest of the market will see this as huge news, right? We're interpreting that this will be positive for sentiment, and you can guess it's also going to be positive for fundamentals when you increase production. But there's one caveat here you got to be aware of, and then I'll get into technicals. If you're ramping up production in a large kind of way, there could be costs associated with that. Okay, number one, I don't know what those costs are going to be. I don't know how it's going to impact earnings. I don't know what their balance sheet looks like if they have to raise money for that. So there's the potential that there are certain market participants who will have that sentiment view on this catalyst and say, I want to sell this ahead of a potential offering, or earnings are going to be depressed in the near term before it goes up. So I'm just going to sell this. There's the potential that happens. I think it's not going to happen. I already bought some at 710, but I'm prepared for the possibility that we move to the 200 DMA at 668. Okay, that could happen. If that happens, I'm going to buy even more, because I think even if it does that, my target, I think it's possible for today we move up to these trend lines, the 20 and the 50 DMAs at 760 to 780. Who knows? Potentially we can even make it above 780 today or this week. I think UUUU, very strong catalyst. This is going to be a top pick for us as we come around to the end of the show later in about 10 minutes. Probably going to move that to the top of the list. Another one, MP. All right, let's see if I can show you here it is. All right, this morning, China bans exports of some rare earth processing technologies. China will halt the export of a range of rare earth technologies, adding to emerging competition with the U.S. and other Western nations for global supplies of strategic raw materials. Okay, you know what? In this case, I only care about the headline. All right, saw that headline earlier this morning. Guess what? MP is the only pure play rare earth producer in the United States that I know of. Maybe there's more. All right, man, I should have also grabbed this one in pre-market. I didn't when I saw that news. So this news could be a catalyst to see the stock surge today. 1914 is your resistance level from yesterday's high. 19. Now this one has a much more bullish chart than UUUU. You can see clearly that 2050 bullish cross. It's already been on an uptrend. It was already on its way to over $20 towards the 200 DMA at 2137. So now you get this catalyst. I think it's a very positive catalyst for the day. So 1914 was the top of this candle right here, about 19. So 1914, your next resistance level, and then 20, and then who knows, maybe you can make it all the way to 2137 in today, tomorrow, or early next week. So MP, that's also going to be a top pick for you. Much better looking chart than UUUU, although I personally like the strength of the news on UUUU better. So I'm going to see if I can get both of them. Currently, I only have UUUU. Should have jumped on MP, huh? All right. So next, LLAP. Let me just check here. Make sure. How come I don't see? Where can I see the people logging in from Twitter not showing on the platform anymore? All right. Anyway, that was fun when it was doing it last week. All right. LLAP. Oh gosh, I need a drink of water. I'm out of water. All right, you guys know, we know LLAP well at Story Trading. We've interviewed the CEO on multiple occasions. The whole story here is the $1 billion plus deal they have with Rivada Space. Okay, and they haven't been getting those payments as fast as they thought. As a result, they've had to do a number of dilutions, culminating a couple weeks ago with an announcement that they would like to sell the company and looking to get some bids by the end of the month to sell the company. What happened? Last night, Seeking Alpha interviewed the CEO of LLAP. I don't know if this is a written interview. I didn't know Seeking Alpha even does interviews. So maybe it was a written interview. I'm not sure if they do a YouTube channel or something. But I saw let me see if the news is here in the feed. Here it is. Okay. Terran Orbital CEO sees getting Rivada payment in the next few days. So this is what he says. He says, I received a text message from the CEO. Here it is. Bell said at a text exchange he had with the Rivada CEO, Declan Gainley. All right. Saying, I'm not 100% certain that they will get it done by tomorrow, but they are trying. Gainley wrote in the text, according to Bell. All right. They're talking, I think more likely Thursday or even Friday. Their American lawyers are good and ready to close it once they get final detailed instructions from their client. Okay, so this is potentially big news. This is high risk, high reward. Now, in the interview, CEO Mark Bell goes on to say, even if we don't get this money from Rivada, we don't need to raise money. We're on the path to profitability. We can get to profitability without raising money. And we don't necessarily have to sell the company. If we sell the company, great, but we don't need to. All right. So this is what he said yesterday. And you can see the stock this morning responding up big. This is high risk, high reward. I have to caution, Mark Bell has previously said, we know they have basically intimated, he didn't use these words, but he intimated that he had seen the contract, he's comfortable with their financing, that Rivada has the financing in place. So not necessarily the most credible character. And they also previously indicated that we don't need to raise money, and they went ahead and did raise money. So the credibility is lacking here, which is why this is a high risk, high reward play. In pre-market, ran all the way to $1.20. It's back to $1 right now, up 14%. So this could be a false alarm. It could go back down to the mid 80s. That could happen. But if it's true, if we get an announcement from Declan Gainley and Rivada, or if LLP announces it for them, that the financing is in place and this contract is proceeding, $1 billion plus, I think it's $1.2 billion. LLAP is a $170 million market cap company. If this comes through, you could see, we've been talking about this since the deal was announced last year, you could see a multi-bag move within a matter of weeks, maybe even days. You could see this $1 stock go to $4 or $5 very, very quickly. All right. So credibility, the issue here, been some false alarms, but potentially it's worth the risk reward, because the risk is maybe if you get it $1 now, maybe you lose 15% if it doesn't work out, or maybe even more, maybe 20, 30%, right? But the reward is the stock can go to $2, $3, $4 very, very quickly. All right. That's LLAP. Big news, potentially big news this morning. Now it's 9:19 a.m. Now, a couple other ones I'm going to touch on. I just want to say, given the IWM chart, Carvana chart looks exactly the same. Our firm chart looks exactly the same. It basically went to those breakout levels, like you saw that 197 area on IWM, and all of these are doing the same thing. So if you believe in buying the dip on IWM, then you're going to get similar opportunities here in Carvana. And by the way, I missed the firm. I didn't see the news. I wonder why. It's on my list. I didn't catch the news the other day that Walmart is going to be using them for buy now, pay later. And that was the reason for this huge move from $44 to $52. Totally missed that news. But you know what? It would have been hard getting it, right? It moved so quickly. Now maybe a better time to get in on the pullback here at $47 on that big news. Let's just quickly look at the chart. This is the first time I'm looking at this chart of a firm. I don't follow a firm quickly. Wow, everything over. We got to go to the weekly because we're way above. Oh my Lord, this thing is extended, isn't it? But this looks similar to Carvana. It's a little bit ahead of Carvana. So you got that support at 41 that it broke. Then you have support at around $50. Okay, this is the major support level. It's really got, resistance level. It's really got a breakthrough, which is 40 right now. So it's playing with 40, so 47.23 and then 52. Okay, 47.53 and then 52. Got a break to keep on going higher. RSI is a little stretched. Honestly, I love that news. Maybe it's an inflection point for a long-term hold, but as far as trading, I like Carvana better, I have to tell you. I've been covering this breakout since a little below 40, calling for a move to 55, and we got it. Look at this. This looks exactly like IWM, but this chart is freaking amazing. We have a target of $80 to $100 in 2024 on Carvana. Actually, maybe even a little bit more. Well, depending on where that 200 weekly moving average goes, but 80 to 100 in play on Carvana, I think in the intermediate term. It could be in the next few weeks or next couple months. All right. So Carvana, I think I still like a little more than a firm. And both of these, I think, are opportunities on the pullback, just like IWM, kind of following the same pattern. So with that, it's 9:21. So I'm going to first get ready to think about, of the stocks we talked about, which is your favorite. You don't have to tell me yet. Just get ready. I'm going to order these. Okay. I'm going to order these for top 5 for today. And you think about how you want to order them, top 1, top 2, top 3, top 5, however you want to think of it, and then throw that in the chat. So here I go. All right. Let's think about it. You know what? I got to say, I love the strength of the news on UUUU more than anything, but MP's got to be right up there because it has a better chart than UUUU. And you can see in pre-market, it's up 4% versus 2%. So that chart's important, right? Traders are looking at this MP chart. It was already breaking out, right? I have more of a bias towards the catalyst than the technicals. And sometimes that works against me, right? I think the technical traders like MP better because of that chart. You can see this is below the key moving averages, so not catching as much attention. But I have to say, I'm going to stick with my guns here. I like to kind of find that gem that no one else is really looking at. I like to be ahead of the market. I like to be ahead of the technical traders. So I'm going to go UUUU first, anticipating that the institutions will come in on this catalyst and take the stock quickly towards 750, 760 for a bigger percentage move than MP. We'll see. All right. So UUUU first, MP second. Let me see what's MP trading at, $18. Okay. So MP may be better for options if you're playing it that way. Higher dollar value stocks usually do better with options, and it does have the better technicals. But I'm going to go UUUU first, MP second. All right. And then after that, LLAP's high risk, high reward. Okay. I probably shouldn't put it in the top 5. We'll see. Maybe it's not going to make it. Let's keep looking over here, see what we got. All right. UUUU, MP. Bitcoin plays interesting. Blink making a move. It's going to go right back to our highs of yesterday. I'm not so sure, but I think I'm going to put Air and Blink in the top 5 today. Air, Blink, LLAP, and I don't have Carvana, Firm. I don't have a catalyst today for Carvana or Affirm. We do have the upcoming catalyst for Air. We have that recent catalyst on Blink. All right. So listen, I think Carvana, Affirm, IWM, Bitcoin, these actually might be the way to go in terms of trading, liquidity, options. These 4 might be the way to go. But when I order these, I order them by percentage gains. Which stocks can have the biggest percentage gains today? That's how I order the top 5. Okay. So I'm going to go with UUUU. And when I talk about that, I'm saying from 924 price. Okay. From now, UUU is 713. $7.13. So which stocks will appreciate the most percentage wise? The common stock. That's how I'm ordering this. So UUUU, MP. I'm going to take a little chance with LLAP. And then, I don't know. Those are my top 2. I got to say, I have highest conviction in 2 today. All right. We have these other 5, Air, Blank, LLAP, Carvana, Firm, but it's UUUU and MP. So what are your top picks for the day? Throw it in the chat. It's 9:25. I got to get going and do some trading. All right. Let me see if I didn't check Rumble all day here. Okay. Rumble. Anyone on YouTube? You got a comment? Put it in there. If you're on Twitter, I guess I don't see the comment here. I was hoping I would. Maybe there's a setting to connect the comments to my streaming software better. But I guess you can put it in the thread. You can put it in the thread over on Twitter what your top stock is for the day. All right. I don't see any entries. Don't see any entries today from any of you guys. All right. We'll see. Maybe we'll try this interactivity again in the coming days. All right. We'll see how you guys like the show. I'll check the metrics. And if you share this, you like it, you comment, you retweet. All right. There's a better chance we'll keep doing. We'll try to increase the interaction from everyone here because I do like to hear from you guys what your top picks are and what you think of our top picks. But with that, I'm out of here. Got to get ready for some trading. You can see the top picks right there. Good luck, everyone.